is absolutely so bright. Okay, I thought I'd ask ChatGPT what it thinks of audiobooks, because I wanted to talk a little bit about audiobooks in this, and I don't really have like a scripted thing to talk about or like specific points, but I thought it'd be funny to see what ChatGPT thinks. So according to ChatGPT, it's telling me what audiobooks are. Love, already know. Benefits of audiobooks: improving listening comprehension skills, providing entertainment during long commutes, allowing people who may have difficulty reading or difficulty holding a physical book to still enjoy literature. Additionally, audiobooks can be helpful for language learners who want to improve their listening and pronunciation. That's actually a super cool idea. I wonder if Libby has any audiobooks in like Japanese or in Spanish or something. That'd be really cool. However, some people may argue that audiobooks lack the tactile and visual experience of reading a physical book. Wind, can we please not? Thank you. Ultimately, whether audiobooks are enjoyable and useful for you depends on your personal preference. Well, duh. Okay. So, audiobooks. I've been listening to a couple. I used to grow up. Wow. English, hey? I grew up on audiobooks. My dad used to listen to them all the time because he had a long commute, so he would just like listen to audiobooks just constantly, and he would never read. He was just not a reader. He was just, he just didn't read. Anyways, I did read when I was younger. I didn't really listen to audiobooks except for when it was, him driving the car or like camping trips and stuff like that. But now, I thought I would try audiobooks again because I am a voracious podcast listener. I don't have enough room for the thoughts. Like, the thoughts can't come in. Like, you need to just keep them at bay with anything that you can. Issue though that I've been having with audiobooks is that I feel like I can't really concentrate on something else. While I'm gaming, I'm playing like, some Destiny or something, I can put on like a podcast, I can put on a YouTube video, and I can kind of pay attention, kind of not. I feel like I can retain more, or I feel like I can retain more information than I would from an audiobook. I feel like an audiobook, even when I'm driving, I've tried to drive listening to an audiobook, and it honestly feels like I'm on a phone call. Like, it feels like, driving on the phone. It feels dangerous because like, I feel like my vision is being obscured by what's happening in my head, if that makes sense. Whereas a podcast is just people talking, you know what I mean? So audiobooks kind of like are sitting in a weird spot for me at the moment. I like the idea of being able to do something else while reading, but it's only a select few activities. Maybe like building a puzzle, maybe cooking, cleaning. Not even cooking, I've tried cooking and listening to audiobooks, and again, I just burn things because the books are just so good, Yeah, so audiobooks. And what's very important about audiobooks is the reader needs to be good. Oh, I was trying to, because when I was young, I used to go to bed listening to like kid stories or the radio or something. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let me try listening to a podcast. Not a podcast, an audiobook before going to bed. Let me try this. Like I used to do when I was younger. Maybe it'd be nice. However, I wanted to turn on a book that I didn't care about because I feel like I'd miss most of the book because I'll be sleeping. So I saw on my Libby app, I went to the audiobooks and then available now, and I just went through like the most popular ones, and one was the selection, the selection with like the girl in the dress. So I was like, oh, I've seen people talk about this, for good or for bad, just because someone says the book is bad doesn't mean it is. So I was like, okay, let's try it out. I loaned it, I turned it on, and oh my gosh, like I don't want to bash someone, but holy, the reader of the selection is not good. Okay, is not good, guys. I also tried listening to the first book of the Dark Tower, and it's like read by an old, like it sounds like a really old guy, and I can't hear what he's saying. Like it's very mumbly. Am I losing my hearing or something? He sounds very mumbly, and I was like, this is not gonna work. So I went back to my podcast. Long story short, audiobooks not for me for sleeping, put it that way. So yeah, but overall, the one audiobook I listened to, I was a bit confused, but that might be just because of the kind of book it was. Lost House on Needless Street, that was my first one that I finished, and good book, fun book, very cool, not horrors, kind of suspense, whatever, very fun book, but it was very hard to keep track of everyone in the audio version, plus the voice acting, the one guy like voices everything, so it was like weird to hear like an American try a French accent, because like his mom is supposed to be French in the book, and it's like it's not working. The next one I listened to, The Guest List, it's so good in audiobook form. Oh, it's so good. It's also different voice actors, but it's like Irish voice actor, it's English, it's like a posh English versus Manchester English, and then you have Irish and like posh men, so it's like you've got female voice actors, and they hired a bunch of people to do this book, and it was so good. Yeah, the production was really good. Also listened to Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. That it's okay. I mean, I was on the fence. I thought the voice actor for the main girl was good, but for that book, the voice acting for the like chapter beginnings was the best. So good. But yeah, audiobooks are interesting. I usually listen to them at 1 point, depending on the voice actor, 1.15 to 1.25. For the guest list, some of the male actor spoke very slowly, so I could put it up to 1.45 speed. And I think that's an upside of audiobooks, is that you can just kind of motor through them, which is, I like that. Some people just speak so slow, and in real life, I wish I could press fast forward on people in real life. 2 times speed it, please. Let's get to the point. I say as I'm rambling in a YouTube video, but whatever. So, yes, audiobooks are fun. Long story short, you listen to audiobooks. What's any audiobook recommendations? Because yeah, I'm not gonna go sit there. Although I do that, I just sit there and sample a bunch of books and see which one. It's like, oh, let's listen to this one. Yes. Have a great weekend.